Hey guys, this is ePortfolio advice part two. So I'm sending an email with the students in our class as examples of, some great ePortfolios that people are making. And now I want to just tell you a couple tricks and tips. Okay, so let's say we're working on this inquiry and critical thinking page. Um, as you know, I've gone ahead and put the goal language in each tab for you so you can see what we're working on here. And let's say that this paragraph here is something that let me go back, something that I want to put a color in. You see how it says block here? So I've clicked on this link right here, and this is for properties. Now, what I can do here is put in a color, right, for the text block. Now, one thing that you can do, and I would suggest is kind of a cool thing to do, is maybe use two different colors. So what I can do here is I can go add text, so it's going to be down here, and then I can take my second paragraph, which is where I'm talking about the work that I've done, and I can copy that, so command copy, and put it down in the second box here. And I just think this is kind of maybe a neat way. I wonder why it's okay to okay. So what I'm showing you here is that one way to organize your paragraphs and to show that they are different paragraphs is to put, oops, look at that. We forgot to copy this part. So I guess we'll just cut that out of there and put it down here so that people know what this paragraph is about. So here I'm writing about this. And there's a couple things you can do to attach assignments, right? So let's say it's my education paper. Ooh, right, that I want to put here. I can highlight this, I can link it, and you see how it says asset? And I say select asset. Let's say I haven't put my education paper there, so now I can upload it, right? And well, let's just say I'm going to choose a file, any file, right? Okay, this is probably just going to be the assignment, right? Let's see. La 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 la. Oh God, come on. All right, I'm just going to use this draft from some other thing and say it's my education paper. Okay, so then I can add it. I can also tag it and say this is my FRINQ work, right? Because hopefully, eventually, we'll all be working on e-portfolios across the curriculum. Okay, so this isn't really my education letter as you saw, it's another thing. I like to bold these so that they really stick out. That's one thing you can do, right, to sort of distinguish between your paragraphs. Of course, here I would be taking all this stuff out. So it would just be my two paragraphs. This is what the goal means to me. And then this is my work sample, right? I can link it here as an asset that opens up. So if we go, we're going to save this. And if we go to look here, what does it look like? Right? We'll see. And you click on this, and it should open up. Well, it is. It's a doc, so it's a Word doc. So that's perfect. They can open the file, they can download the file. So that's one way of putting your assignment in here. The other way, which keeps it neat, especially at the end of the term, you're going to have two different assignments linked. I do like to just put the whole assignment right in there. I think that's fine too. What else was I going to show you? So anyway, we want to go back and edit. So that is a really important thing to remember. When you go in here, you can add color. Here's another thing that I wanted to go over with you guys. Here, let's say I'm going to upload a picture of myself. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's hilarious. There's a picture of me. Okay, so continuing to click on the box and see how it's highlighted, I'm going to go up here to Properties, and I am going to add a title. I'm also going to add a caption. So my title is Visiting California, or whatever. I was in California at my in-laws' house. That's their house behind me when I was. And then photo courtesy of me. Another thing, you can do in the caption is just say what it is. Like some of you had images that it wasn't really clear what they were or why they were there. In this case, I think you can see, here I'm talking about myself, here's a picture of me, right? But if you're doing that on these other pages, which I really liked, in the other video that I shared, there were people that had images here. Remember to go in and do this caption and title thing, right? Oops. There's no picture here, so we can't do it. Here, well, let me add one, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to drag an image right down here, beside here. Now, it can be any image, right? Anything at all. This is a picture of Tübingen in Germany that I use for my other class. And here's a great example of something that people are not going to necessarily know. Tübingen, oops. Begin. Come on. Germany. Oh my gosh. All right. You know what I mean. Tübingen, and then photo courtesy of, or you could, whatever. So, you want to put a title, or you can use the caption, oops, the caption to say what it is, right? However you want to do it, you do want to remember to credit all images that you put in there. Yeah, Tübingen, Germany. This is where I studied, studied abroad in 1980. God, I don't know if it was 88 or whenever it was. I'm not exactly sure where it was, but like you can put other information down there too, right? Yeah, and you can say up here if you want to. Photo, although I think this is kind of big text to do this. Or google.com or wherever you got it, right? So we're going to go ahead and save this, and we can go back and look what it looks like. So please do, when you're putting images in, explain what they are and, caption them and title them, or at least caption them. That's pretty important. Okay, so I've saved this. Now I'm going to go look at it, and you can see there it is, right? That's where I studied abroad, blah, blah, blah. So I just have this overall paragraph, and then I have a second paragraph that's a different color, as I showed you before. Um, those are a couple of things I wanted to show you about PebblePad that, some of you still aren't using it to its full capacity. Here you can reorder pages if you want to, like if you wanted a different one to come up first. In our class, I don't think it really matters. I prefer to see the four goals up front. That is, the four goals, then mission, then reflections, right? So I just wanted to share those couple little tips with you guys when you're thinking about making, adding to your ePortfolio. Think about ways that you can make it visually engaging as well. Now, you don't want it to be too jazzy and too crazy, because then that's annoying and it gets in the way of the reader reading what you actually have to say. But I think using a little color and a couple of, images is a nice way to keep it visually engaging. And it's kind of a practicing multimodal communication. And by multimodal, I mean different, in this internet age, right? Different forms of communication rather than just the sort of 19th century type on black type on white paper. That's very 19th century. And so think about how you can make it a little more visually compelling. Like I said, you also don't want to go crazy and have too much going on, because then that's just annoying. But the main reason I mentioned this paragraph color difference is because sometimes it just helps your reader to understand that you have, um, these are separate thoughts. Some of you are running it all together in one paragraph. And I think that can also be confusing. I like these sort of headers that tell you, okay, this is what I'm going to discuss now. Now up here, I've talked about, my reflection on the goal. This is what I think it means in terms of Portland. Inquiry and critical thinking means not just, saying, oh, this is a nice city, but understanding the things that make the city the way it is. What are some of the individual attributes that Portland has that other cities don't have? Blah, 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 right? And you could write something like that about inquiry and critical thinking. And then down here, it's very separate. It's a different thought, right? Okay, I just popped it out of where it was, with the picture accidentally. But, it kind of helps if, and look at that, that's pretty with just the blue with the picture. But my point that I'm trying to make is if you organize your thoughts um, in these blocks, it can also help the reader. So just wanted to share that with you. And if you have any other questions about PebblePad, I'm always happy to answer them for you. As you know, your ePortfolio is now shared with me, so you don't have to share it again. It's automatically updating every time you work on it. And as with last term, I really encourage you, I mean, strongly encourage you to begin working on it right away, because you have time now that you may not have at the end of the term. So basically, the ePortfolio assignment for the spring term, which I will also send you all that information about the ePortfolio assignment, is that you're going to have two assignments attached to each goal, um, and a reflection, of course. So this means that you're going to add another assignment. You should have ended winter term with one assignment under each goal that you discuss in terms of the goal and talk about what you learned from it, right? Again, the rule is you may use one assignment and only one twice in your ePortfolio. So I can use it under critical thinking and ethics and social responsibility, whatever it is. Let's say it's my education paper. I can use it under two different goals, That's it. You can't use it more times than that. So essentially, what you're going to have at the end is you're going to have 9 different assignments attached to your ePortfolio. No, wait, no, that's not right. Not 9. You're going to have 7 different assignments attached to your ePortfolio. At least 7, right? Because you're going to have 2 for each goal, and 1 can be used twice. Yeah, and the other rule, so that's one rule. The second rule is that you may include one assignment from another class. And I encourage you to do that. Um, Although we're using the ePortfolios to assess student work in our program, I think you can learn a lot from student work that students do in other classes. I mean, maybe this class is not your, best class or whatever, and you're really engaged in these science labs you're doing or something. And we haven't done any science labs. And you find this particularly engaging and thrilling and really related to what you want to do, like be a scientist or something. That is fine to attach that for critical thinking or whatever goal you think it goes with. I actually think that helps us to know where you are intellectually, academically, just as well as an assignment from our class. But because we're trying to assess where our freshmen are in terms of what we are teaching them in our freshman program, that's why we try to limit the number of assignments from an outside class. Anyway, you guys, let me know as always if you have any questions.